The Zimbabweans are people who are friendly, and perhaps that is our curse, that is our shortcoming, that we have a kind of patience, an enduringness that perhaps is the reason we are where we are today, given all the forms of brutality we've endured. Zimbabwe is exhausting. It's difficult to make ends meet on a day-to-day basis. You walk into the supermarket to buy milk, and as you walk from the shelf that has one price, by the time you get to the till to pay for your milk, the price has changed. It's called hyperinflation, and for many people it means leaving the milk behind. If you look at where we were in terms of development, what we'd accomplished in terms of democracy, human rights, we felt we were somewhere like at E, F, perhaps G in the alphabet. What has happened over the last 7 years has eroded all those gains, and we're back at not being on the alphabet. So what we're trying to do with Zimbabwe is to get back on track with our quest for freedom and for liberation. We're fighting for the second democracy of our nation. And the lessons of the first democracy are so glaring.
Mugabe's crackdown on our people leaves a trail of broken limbs, rape victims, torture victims, and dead bodies. Such is the reality of Zimbabwe today. The unprovoked and continuing attacks on all Zimbabweans advocating for peaceful change must stop.
Each time Mugabe feels insecure about his hold on power, his reaction is often violent. In 2000, we went through a very violent parliamentary election campaign. 2002, we went through a very violent presidential campaign. 2005, we went through a very violent parliamentary campaign. And now, in preparation for the elections in 2008, the violence has started 10 months away.
On the 11th of March 2007, the Save Zimbabwe, which is a campaign of civil society, Christian-related groups, had called for a prayer meeting in Harare, where the police responded that it was a disproportionate response to a prayer meeting which did not pose any threat to the security of the state or to any other person. They were using water cannons, tear gas, live ammunition, and all sorts of paraphernalia to disperse a gathering which was very much peaceful. This then resulted in the police arresting the leadership of the campaign, including Grace Kwinjeh.
They said, "What is your name?" I said, "Grace Kwinjeh." Then, they came. They started to beat me up. They started to beat me up. "Ah, what sort of woman do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who are?" I passed out there. Then, well, I thought, I didn't know the worst was yet to come. More and more beatings. Everybody was now being beaten up.
I was subjected to a lot of beatings, but I think the intention was to inflict as much harm as they could.
They made him lie down, and immediately a group went to actually beat him up. And you could see blood coming out. I didn't even know where it was coming out from.
There was blood all over people. I had been hit quite hard on the head, so I could hardly comprehend what was happening around me. Then in the morning, they took us to the magistrate's court where they were going to charge us. Again, not to hospital, So it's almost like 72 hours of no medical attention. I could hardly stand, I could hardly sit. So they were singing, it makes what they've done to you so insignificant, because what you then stand for and the people who are there is much higher and much bigger. When we went outside, we were allocated 4 armed riot police each to take us to hospital. I feel a lot of pain, especially around my shoulders. If you look back, that's where, if you can help me to. This is where they.
We don't want people to start now provoking us into a situation where we would have to deal with them in a manner which they will regret.
It's difficult to say to your leader and to your freedom fighter, to your liberationist, that really what you have done to our society is difficult to accept, and the responsible thing for you to do is to step aside.
But most importantly, the abductions and the torture must stop now, and this is the message that we are seeking to communicate.
Well, I'd like my children to grow up or to come back to a free Zimbabwe where they have choices, where there's democracy, and where a leadership is there to serve the people. The whole international community has to take a position and stance on Zimbabwe. That was done in South Africa. That is how South Africa got her independence. So we are willing to pay with our lives, and we are saying to the international community, before a lot of our lives are lost, please do something.